What it do, y'all? And if I die, then my child will be a bastard. I don't know if y'all know nothing about that Jewel Santana, What the Game's Been Missing. That's one of my favorite CDs as a youth. You know, I grew up listening to that CD back and forward and back, listening to every song. But it's one song that always stood out to me. One song that always made me feel, but at the time I couldn't feel that shit. Oh, Lord, y'all, I was lighting up my cigarette. But yeah, the one song on there that I could feel, but I couldn't feel, was this track that I just played for you. It's called Daddy. And I liked that song because I had my father, and it always reminded me of just the sacrifices and just knowing that he was always there. And so when I would listen to that song as an adolescent, I always wanted to be that type of father. The way, you could call me with anything. Anything you got going, don't hesitate to call me. It don't matter what it is, call me. And so this is the second part of the vlog here. I didn't really get into taking the pictures and doing everything like I wanted to do. Like I took some pictures, but I didn't get to take all the pictures I wanted to with all my boys. I got some good videos of us hooping at the park that I watch almost every day. And I got some videos with my little man, And so I'm just pretty much, this is a highlight of my trip of just how it was to see my kids after not seeing them for over 2,193 days. And so it started off pretty good. I woke up real early, got everything packed that I thought I needed. I ended up getting my laptop charger. I was bringing Sonera a laptop that I had imaged for, but I ended up getting my charger, so I had to wait to give it a charger. And I didn't bring any of my Android chargers or my Apple charger for my iPhone, my work phone. So I had already messed up strike one. But I get to the airport, and as I'm riding to the airport, I'm just extremely emotional. Because the moment that I thought about and wished for years was finally coming true, that I was gonna be able to finally hold and hug my kids. And I was just swept up in emotion. I was just crying while I was driving, and I was just trying to get that shit out because I really needed to. So I get to the airport, and as I'm driving there, I'm getting all these alerts about the flight pretty much being delayed. My flight was supposed to leave at 1:30, and we didn't leave till about 4:30. That's what time we officially took off. There was a lot of delays going on, and for me, it just, I was just doing my best to stay in a positive mind state. Because at that point I knew, I was like, man, it's always a challenge that's gonna present yourself, and I'm not about to allow this, something I don't have any control over, mess over my day. Because I was getting ready to go see my kids and get loved on by my kids, and I wasn't about to let that type of negativity bring me down, because once again, it was out of my control. It was nothing I could do about the plane. So we ended up getting to Philadelphia. At this point, it's 8 o'clock. So I'm trying to get to my rental car. I ended up renting a car with Thrifty. That's who it was for, Thrifty Dollar Rental. Shout out to them. The only thing was, because the amount of flights that had got pushed back late in New Orleans, a lot of people on my flight also had to get rental cars. So it was ended up being like an hour and a half wait. By the time I got the rental car, it was nearly 10 o'clock. So by the time I got the rental car, Drove into downtown to get to my hotel, fighting against my phone dying. It's like, man, everything that's going wrong can go wrong. And so then the parking, I find out I had to pay like $216 up front. I was like, nah, forget that. I'm gonna go ahead. I parked for a second at the parking structure, and then I left. The guy ended up letting me out because I didn't get a ticket. I ended up just using my phone number. So cool. I get out, get in touch with my kid's mom. She was up late, and we ended up going to get like a cheesesteak and just talking real fast. And I can't lie, it was good to see her because again, it had been 6 years since I laid eyes on this woman, and I still felt a lot of love for her. I still felt more love than I had, despite all the negative stuff that had went on over the years. I just was glad to see her and be in her presence. And so I ended up letting her hold the rental car just because I didn't want to pay the parking at the hotel. She came and got me the next morning about 7, 8 o'clock. We ended up hanging out all day. I think she took off from school. And so we hung out and did stuff till about 2. And that's when I finally got to go see my kids, which surprisingly, because I had cried so much previously, I think I was all cried out at that moment. But before that, me and her ended up going to this hibachi place to get hibachi Hawaiian spot to get some food, and it was okay. My stuff was real good. Hers wasn't that good, and she ended up wanting to try my shit. I'm like, can't wait for Luke. But I ended up seeing my kids. A lot of emotions running through me. They treated me with so much love. And made me feel like, I was still their dad and our relationship had never changed. And so we ended up going to the movie theater. I took them to go see Blue Beetle. Got all their snacks and everything. And we went inside, and it was a great movie. I had a great time with them. We laughed so much. And then from there, me and my kids ended up going to the park. We shot basketball for a little bit. I saw that my oldest son could touch the rim. I mean, he's damn near looking me in the eye. And so that was a trip because the last time I saw you, you were 8 years old. Now you grabbing a 9-7 rim. Insane. And the time just flies by so fast. So I ended up getting dropped back off to the hotel. Oldest two didn't want to come. I was cool with it. Did hurt a little bit, but I sucked it up. And me and my youngest went, and we went back there. We chilled, we hung out, we watched the movie, and we ended up going to bed. Next day, we get up on Saturday. Me and him go to the gym. We go work out. I get us some breakfast, and we chilling. The mom come gets me, and we end up going to pick up the older boys. And I dropped their mom off, and we ended up going to Urban Air, and I had a blast watching my kids jump and just have fun because, man, that's really what life is all about, those moments like that where you're able to make your kid happy. Nothing feels better than that. Absolutely nothing. And so, back up a little bit while we was in the car driving, they ended up telling me about they like cheeseburgers and all that. And I'm like, well, okay, where you like your burger from? Oh, I like Burger King. I'm like, Burger King? Nah, we gotta take you to a real burger spot. So I just so happened to look up and see if they had a smash burger around, and they did. And so after we finished jumping about after 2 hours or so, I ended up taking them to Smash Burger. We got a burger. Couple of them got milkshakes only. Amore didn't get one. And they had a little cool robot come out and bring us our food. I had never seen that, in Louisiana. I don't think I'd been to one where I sat down and ate it. So, it was different seeing the robot come out and bring my food. And me and my youngest son went back, and the next day, later that night, we ended up watching Super Mario Kingdom. I washed and shampooed and conditioned his hair because he was smelling like outside. He hadn't really washed his hair because the day before I got there, he had got back from camp. So he had only just been putting water in his hair. So yeah, I went on ahead and got that right. And we hung out and just did stuff, just enjoyed being in each other's company. Sundays, mom came, picked us up that morning about noon, and so we were supposed to go swimming and stuff. But I was taking her to run some errands and get some stuff for them for the house. And by the time we looked up, it was like 4 o'clock. We ended up going to Sam's Club. I got her a Sam's Club card under my membership, and we got us a hot dog. That was actually my first time trying sauerkraut on a hot dog. Gotta say, shit is litty. She was real good. That mayonnaise, I mean not mayonnaise, that mustard and ketchup with that sauerkraut on it, fight. And it was cheap, Sam's Club, it be like $1.50. So, I was not complaining about that, you feel me? You feel me? And boom, we end up, getting dropped off after me and my sons went to the park again and hooped. I ended up getting them some snacks or whatever. And their mom had made us some spaghetti, so I didn't have to buy no food my last day there. We ended up buying a pizza, I think, Saturday night. I got a big jumbo pizza from South Philly spot. It was good too. One of them deep dish square slices. But man, and Monday came, and from Monday forward, man, I woke up hurt, went to bed feeling hurt. I could barely sleep, just because, I knew my flight wasn't leaving till like 1:30, and I just didn't know if I was gonna see the other kids, my older boys, because again, they didn't stay the night with me at the hotel. Only my youngest did. And so, boom, we end up hanging out. And mom came pick me up about 7. Got my youngest in there, and we took them to McDonald's to get a breakfast. They made their mom a breakfast sandwich roll like 2 times. She was hot. People don't play about their steak bagels. I'm mad we ain't got that in Louisiana though. It's like, that was like my favorite thing at McDonald's as far as breakfast sandwiches go. But from that moment on, I just really was weighing heavily on my mind. And me and my son, they kind of cried together on Sunday night, just saying how much we was gonna miss each other, because that little guy is my best friend. And I almost forgot, Sunday night when we got dropped off, after going to shoot basketball and all that, me and him walked downtown, and I walked to the Rocky statue. And as we walked together through downtown, I made sure I had my hand on his real tight, watching for traffic and everything, because I don't want anything to happen to my baby. And it was just a good time just getting to remember him, and it's just something I'm always remember, because I was a big fan of Rocky, and being able to run up those steps with my son, it's a memory I feel like I'll have with me until my last breath. I was one, something as small as that. For me, being Louisiana, that's something we've always thought about, man, seeing the Rocky statue and everything. And I was just glad I got to see it. I was glad I got to make that memory with my son, because it really was special. And we got some ice cream on the walk back, and I got to snap up a couple pictures of the Thinker and Shakespeare. And overall, man, it was just good. It was just a good, intimate moment that I really enjoyed and I really cherish. But I also found out they got a dispensary out there in New Jersey though too. Nova Forms, check it out. Woodbury, New Jersey. Shout out for the plug. But, flying back, I wasn't able to cry like I wanted. I ended up dropping my son back off, dropped his mom back off, and I was hurting. She had to go to work. She's not really emotional. Me, I'm a big crybaby. And when I let my son out and I walked him to the door, man, it absolutely broke me. It absolutely broke me. And I still couldn't cry because I was in public and everything. But when I got home and I finally unpacked and I had time to sit and think, it just hit me like a wave, like a tsunami. It just hit me like how much I miss my sons, how much I just miss being there with them, how much I just miss talking to them and just being a part of their lives. Like, I don't understand how guys can have kids in the same state, same geographic region that they are, and not see them because you don't know what I would pay to be able to have that. Like, my sons are my favorite people. I love being around them. And, that's why I think it took me a couple days to make the video, because I had to get my mind together where I had to compartmentalize those feelings in order to, live my life and continue to support them like I have. Because, man, that first day back, I couldn't even go to work. I was just crying, just ugly, nose running, just, man. My mom didn't know if I was gonna be able to, if I was gonna have to go to the hospital for having a psychotic break or something. Because, man, I just cried and I cried and I cried. Like, man, it was one of the hardest things I've done in my life, is willingly having to leave my kids like that. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And I'm doing a little better now. It's been a couple days. But that pain's still there. It's just I'm able to hide and mask it and continue to function. But see these moments here when I'm alone and I'm just sitting here with my thoughts. Tear me up. Tears me up. And I just want to say I thank God that I was able to see them. And the only thing that got me out of feeling like that was praying. Just praying to God and praying for their well-being, praying for their safety, praying for my health, praying for their mom's health, praying for my family and her family's health, and just being thankful that they was able to raise 3 strong, smart, independent young men. And praying that I'm here to be here as long as I can and continue to mold and guide them along the way. Thankful that they had a good mom that loves them and that loves me and thinks about my feelings and stuff. And that's what I had to do. I had to be thankful, because things could be worse, and I had to be eternally thankful that they in the situation that they in. No, I'm not as close as I want to be, but I'm working on that so that I can. And I just want to say thank y'all for listening. This is like therapy to me. I've been meaning to get into therapy. I've been saying it for a long time, and I think it's maybe time that I need to go ahead and act on that. But this right here is therapeutic for me because it just allows me to express myself. And a lot of times as black men, we don't have a place to sometimes open up. Like, not about bashing nobody or what this person should be, and nothing, just about honesty about ourselves. So I want to just say thank y'all. Hope y'all have a good Sunday. All In is going on right now, so I hope y'all watching, my wrestling fans. And y'all take these.